Welcome, everybody, to Dolphins Central Radio. Yes, this is me, Tommy Galicia. I'm live in front of a camera, joined by Chris Cochran. Chris.
Yes, I am live in front of a camera as well. We decided to take our journeys to Skype, from Skype, and now we're at Google+.
Yes, which means you get to watch the show in real time, or the more likely scenario, since this was all done at last minute, is that you are listening on the podcast as usual and wondering what the hell are they talking about. Well, here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about a dominating Dolphins performance over the Chicago Bears in Chicago last week, and we're going to preview what should be, but odds are won't be, a dominating performance by the Dolphins over the Jaguars in Jacksonville. This should be pretty fun. Now, let's first start off in Chicago. Chris, talk about the game. What did you see that you liked, and what did you see that you didn't like?
I honestly didn't really. The only complaint I had, and the thing is, I don't want to be sounding like a Debbie Downer, or one of those negative Nancy's out there. They played great overall, but it just keeps going to it. And this is what me and you. I texted you during the. I think I texted you or tweeted you during the game. It might have been after.
We did both.
What was Tannehill has these games where he just completely goes nuts, and you're like, why can't he do that every game? Why does he always have to have a half of like that? It's either this is what it is. Either he has a really bad game, a really good half, or a really good game. Like I know it's his third year and he's young, but I just wish it would just be more consistent. That's all I want from him is consistency.
Definitely, this is the closest to consistency we have seen from him, because in his last 3 games, he's had only one bad half. Against Oakland, he was excellent. Second half against Green Bay, he was great. This game, he was excellent again. The only thing was that first half against Green Bay. That was the only issue that he had. But so this is fairly consistent, but not the consistency that we want. The consistency that we want to see is he goes out there and he has a great game against the Jaguars. What else did you see that you liked from the Dolphins?
Mike Wallace, once again, just being a factor in the receiving game. It's not like he's just a deep threat. And I hate when people say that. It drives me nuts when people say that because he's doing more than that. His game's completely changed. Granted, his plays aren't as explosive, but he's become more well-rounded now as a receiver. That's one thing I took away from that is Mike Wallace has been a factor. Cameron Wake, we don't have to say anything about that. We just know. And they finally got a turnover again. It's been, the last time they got a turnover was against the Raiders in London. And I've always thought that the Dolphins defense, their Achilles has not been forcing turnovers this year. And now they finally got one.
That has been their Achilles, and the issues that they have getting turnovers, that's not overstated. They really do have problems doing that, and that is something that they absolutely have to do in order to win. When they get turnovers, they win, and last week we saw them with they had 2. They had the forced fumble on
with Cameron Wake. No, the Randy Starks.
Okay, no, that's right. There were 2 forced fumbles and an interception. There was the Cortland Finnegan. Finnegan was great, by the way, on Sunday. More on him in a little bit. But there was the Finnegan forced fumble that Randy Starks recovered, and then there was the Cameron Wake strip sack, and then in the first half there was the Rashad Jones interception. They need more of that in every game. I honestly believe that for the Dolphins to win, their defense has to force at least 2 turnovers in a game.
Yeah, and the thing with the Dolphins defense is statistically it's top notch. It's just that it turns into a field position game with them because they can only if you're given a team 50, 60 yards of drive every time, it's going to add up. And I don't know if turnovers, if it's like a mixture of a skill on top of randomness to happen. I think sacking the quarterback and forcing a fumble. I think there's more. There's skill in this, to anticipate and all that. But I don't know if it's just been randomness they haven't done it. Just like a team not forcing turnover, not turning the ball over, like the Chad Pennington year, that one year where he had less than 10. The entire Dolphins offense had less than 10 turnovers. Like I don't know if it's parts like that much skill and also like that much randomness, but that the Dolphins defense is a lot better. It's a lot more dominant when they force these turnovers.
They are, and they look like the dominant defense that I honestly think that they're supposed to be. Now, getting to the secondary, who gave him a shot last week?
Rashad Jones finally, it's his second game back. We saw it last week against Green Bay. He could have had a pick six, and now he finally got a pick. I was actually thinking about this. You remember when we had our discussion about Finnegan and how if he's starting over Will Davis and I think it was Jamar Taylor, that's not good. But are you okay with him like being a starter, through half the season right now?
Well, thing is, this has been his best game of the season, but he's turned in two good games. He was very good against New England, and he was just outstanding against the Bears. At the same time, the only reason it really bothers me is it just shows me that with Taylor and Davis that they don't really have it in terms of where they were drafted. Remember, well, not so much Davis. Davis, he can take a little bit more time to develop, but Taylor, he was a second-round pick. I expected him to start last year. He was pretty much not there, and then this year, really Finnegan has gotten more playing time over him, and there have been some games where Finnegan was bad. Well, against Green Bay, Finnegan was horrible.
Yeah.
But the way that he cleaned up against the Bears was, that was just great to see, and that just goes to show you the type of player that Finnegan is in terms of how he's able to recover from subpar efforts and turn in the next day and give it his all and give us a spectacular effort against a team that he really had no business doing that against.
Are you? No, continue.
Am I? He look at what he was doing to Brandon Marshall that last offensive drive of the game, and I don't think it was just physically covering him. I think Finnegan got into Marshall's head.
Mm-hmm.
Because Finnegan's always been that type of player where he'll try to get into a receiver's head. Remember, it worked on Andre Johnson when Finnegan was with the Titans.
Well, he's been known to be that dirty player, to piss people off, and that's kind of what the Dolphins defense missed. They've never had we haven't had that player. Last time I think we had that player was Joey Porter, and that's because he just talked a lot of crap. And this guy, he does stuff about it. He's, we can see it.
Definitely, and that's what definitely. Then we saw that in that last drive with Finnegan covering Marshall because Grimes was on the bench, and I really liked seeing Finnegan on Marshall. And at the end, you saw how Marshall reacted on that 4th and 10 play where Finnegan broke it up.
Yeah.
Right after, what did Marshall do?
Started bitching.
No. He shoved him. He flat out shoved Finnegan, and Chris McCann, and as Finnegan was coming up to respond, Chris McCann got in the middle and stuck up for Finnegan.
Because he knows what will happen. He knows what will happen with Finnegan. He's a little hothead.
Yeah. No, but at the same time, there's also sticking up for your teammate. That was great to see. Now, what didn't you like from Sunday?
I would say there were times when points were left on the board.
Definitely.
In the first half, the game was 14-0. It was 14-0. Yeah, if I'm correct, it was 14-0. And there were times when that game could have easily been 21, 28-0. I think Sturgis had a missed field goal. And there's just times where it's just times where they just leave points on the board. I'm not expecting the offense to be perfect or to come out with drives. The minute they get within the 35-yard line of Chicago, but there were points were left on the board, and so for its credit as this offense and how good it can be, I'd like for it to throw up some points, and that's about it. It's the consistency with Tannehill and they left points on the board. We're nitpicking when they scored 27, but
when they scored 27, it should have been at least 35.
Yeah.
First off, you had the 2 missed field goals, and with one of the missed field goals, I don't know why they decided to attempt that field goal because it was from I believe it was from 52 yards out, And this is Caleb Sturgis kicking from 52 yards out in a stadium where the wind swirls around, and the stadium is
on a
in
crap field.
On a very crappy field as well. I mean, how many times do we see players slip? I mean, the field was so bad. I was defending Daniel Thomas for slipping.
Yeah,
mind you, Daniel Thomas has slipped on a perfect field time and time again. This time around, we see him slip, and on Twitter, some were calling him the nickname that he has.
That actually bothers me. Okay, first of all, that nickname bothers me. It's not because I like Daniel. It's just like the hypocrisy in the name, in an era where the NFL is like being destroyed with domestic violence and being labeled they're not doing a good job, I guess, protecting women. But yet we have no problem calling Daniel Thomas cat feet.
Yes.
Like, we have no problem. Dolphin fans have no problem, but the minute something happens with domestic violence, we are so fast to jump all over the NFL. Like, it's just a giant state of hypocrisy with a machinist, mindset with Daniel Thomas.
There's a giant set of hypocrisy everywhere, and I mean, now the Dolphins fans that call Daniel Thomas that nickname, by the way, how many of them took Jonathan Martin's side? Because plenty of them, from what I've seen on Twitter, actually took Jonathan Martin's side last year. But they all.
Once the evidence came out, another thing, I don't know if you noticed this. Joe Philbin, he does these weird things. Like, I'm not going to say it was bad coaching. Like, I'm not going to say it was a dumb mistake. He randomly punted. Like, it didn't make sense. I want to say it was at the end of the half. Like,
instead of going for a Hail Mary.
Yeah. It was exactly. It was like 2 seconds left, and he punts it.
Yeah, all I could see that doing was really adding to Fields' average, because he called out Brandon Fields this week, actually, as well as Caleb Sturgis, and Fields has not had a great season, and again, he didn't have a good game. Actually, in my report card grades that I post after every Dolphins game, every unit got either an A or a B, except for two. Special teams, which got enough, and they had to have gotten enough. It was the same old stuff we've seen from that unit. And the coaching, I actually gave the coaching a D, even though Laser had a perfect game plan, and that game plan was executed. But when there's a 12-man on the field penalty.
Those are my favorite, by the way.
12 men on the field.
Those are my favorite. It doesn't make
when there's a 12 men on the field penalty, when there was that decision to punt, which I didn't even mention in there. The decision to go for...
It just doesn't make sense.
The time to punt would have been when they attempted that 52-yard field goal with Caleb Sturgis with the wind swirling around Soldier Field. Chicago's called the Windy City for a reason. And the wind...
It's not for politics.
No, part of it's politics. But
of course, but in this
part
case...
of it is... But in this case, no, it lived up to its billing, and it's not even like it was that windy for Chicago standards. Because the wind, from what I saw, was like 15 to 20 miles per hour. For Chicago standards, that's actually a pretty decent breeze. But the way that it swirls around Soldier Field with its UFO design,
mm-hmm.
Even the best kickers, and the Bears have one of the best in Robbie Gould, from time to time they'll miss. Now imagine a guy as shaky as Caleb Sturgis. There, I would have punted the ball, try to pin them inside the 5.
Little pooch punt.
Yeah. I would have even faked the punt there on the field goal.
How great would it be one time if Tannehill decides to do a pooch punt?
No, that would be
like Big Ben. Like Big Ben decides, Big Ben pooch punches. They just have Tannehill a little pooch punt. I mean, he's not going to boot it. It's just for entertainment purposes. But going back to it, it would be a. I guess that's the reason why. Is they wanted him to fix his average, but it just didn't make. I'm not killing Philbin for it. Just I was like, why? But I mean, game's over.
Yeah, here's something that I did kill Philbin for, and that was 4th and 2, chance to score the touchdown, and instead they go for the field goal. 4th and 2 from the 2-yard line. I thought they should have gone for the touchdown.
Yeah.
I thought, even if they don't get it, it's still a 2-possession game, only you're backing the Bears up at their own 2-yard line, and their offense hadn't been able to get anything going.
Mm-hmm.
However, they went for the field goal instead, and that led to, well, good field position for the Bears, who started, I believe, at the 40. Second straight week, something like that has happened. Luckily, this time, they didn't get burnt because, again, the Bears' offense just couldn't get anything going.
It's funny with the Bears because they are a good offense. Jay Cutler's going to Jay Cutler. Last year they were a top 3 offense.
Yeah.
Statistically.
And Jay Cutler that game. He's due
for
3 or 4 whoppers like that a season.
Oh, it's why I was like, please be the Jay Cutler game where you're watching it and you're like, thank God Jay Cutler did that because he just does that. He's gonna have games it wouldn't if this was like a best of 3 or best of 5, it would not have shocked me if the next time they play he throws for 3 touchdowns and just completely torches the Dolphins defense.
Yeah, that's Jay Cutler.
Yeah, it's just who he is. And so that fact that he was like that, man, it doesn't I'm happy that we got him on that game. We got that Jay Cutler game because there's another time where he'll go gunslinger mode and do those same throws that are completed for touchdowns.
Yeah. Exactly, and let's look at the Bears' schedule because just blindly I'm going to say, without knowing who they're playing, Jay Cutler is going to have one of those good Jay Cutler games next week. Oh, they're playing the Patriots in New England.
Playing the Patriots in New England, and then after that they play Green Bay, and then the week after it's or 2 weeks or 3 weeks it's Chicago. It's Minnesota.
Okay. Watch Cutler and the Bears somehow find a way to shred the Patriots. They won't beat the Patriots, but watch.
You'll see Jay Cutler and he'll put up one of those games.
Yeah, he'll put up one of those good games. Well, we look forward to the Bears schedule, and really there's not much else that could be said about this Dolphins performance. It was a great job by the players, somewhat great job by the coaches, and just some decisions that were maddening. And I've come to live with the fact that we're probably going to get that from Philbin. Very Andy Reid-like in that approach.
It's trolling. It's honestly,
yes.
I'm just gonna tell myself he's just trolling the fan base at this point.
Yeah. Well, if he really wanted to troll the fan base, he would lose to Jacksonville.
Oh God.
And I was speaking with my sister's boyfriend yesterday when we were at dinner, the entire family, and he goes, I really expect for the Dolphins to wind up losing this game. Now, is that something that should be expected?
I don't know, man. Jacksonville's bad, and they're due for their win, and they got it against Cleveland. But I don't know. I just think Miami's too good. Right now, they're
You think too good?
I don't think they could do that. I don't know. It can happen. I'm not gonna say it's not gonna happen. It's very possible, but seeing the way the offense overall has been played, the running game, Paul Posluszny's out. The Jags defense is bad. They have no weapons. They got Allen Robinson.
Oh, and their offensive
Hurns, Denard Robinson. I think the Dolphins. I take the Dolphins on all facets over Jacksonville.
I would too. The Jaguars' offensive line is on pace to allow 66 sacks this season.
My God.
Yeah, they have allowed Blake Bortles to get sacked 13 times.
And
and he's only played the last 4 games. He didn't start the season. Henny was sacked, I believe, 15 times.
They're just a bad team, man. And so if the Jags win, it's not gonna shock me. It's a home game. It's the NFL. The games are like this. Now, do you think the Dolphins will cover the spread if they win?
Well, the spread is 7. Now.
It's 7 now?
Yeah.
Whew.
According to OddsShark, what have you seen?
I've seen 5, 5.5.
Yeah, no, it's at 7.
Wow. That is a lot for an away team.
Yeah, especially in a away team that, I mean, is really. I still put the Dolphins as being a mediocre in a team. So for a team like that to be favored by 7 on the road.
Isn't the rule? That's like the equivalent of like 13 at home, right? Like 10 or I'm making this up. I have no idea, but I'm guessing if that was a home game, that's 10.
Home team always gets the 3 points.
The 3 points. Yeah, that's what I wanted to find. That's what I wanted to kind of get confirmation with. Home team always gets 3 points. So, I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, in fact, I even did my weekly bold predictions for the week matchup. I published that earlier this morning, and just studying the Jaguars, looking at everything about that team, I wound up making some pretty outlandish predictions. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the first prediction actually pertains to the Jaguars, and that is I predicted that Denard Robinson will give the Dolphins a mild headache. Now Robinson, he does look like the type of running back the Dolphins have struggled with.
Quick.
But notice how quick, speedy, yeah. But I only said mild.
Uh-huh.
I only said mild. On a better team, in a couple weeks, the week after this, the Dolphins play the Chargers, and that includes Ben Oliver. Do I see Oliver giving them a mild headache?
No.
Not at all. That's going to be.
I'm not worried about San Diego, to be honest with you.
Well, we'll talk about that next week.
Next week.
Now, the next prediction I made was that sacks will fall out of the sky for the Dolphins' defense. Again, this is a team that's on pace to allow 66 sacks. They've already allowed 29 sacks this season. They've allowed Blake Bortles, who's only started 4 games, to get sacked 14 times.
Mm-hmm.
So is that really that bold of a prediction?
No, it's not, because we don't know if Deion Jordan's going to be activated. He's just kind of he's kind of sprinkles. He's sprinkles.
I didn't even consider Jordan. I was looking at Shelby. I was looking at Cameron Wake, Olivier Vernon, Chris McCain,
Starks,
and Odrick. Those were who I was thinking of. I didn't even factor in Jordan with that.
Yeah, and I put it this way. I picked up Miami's defense.
So did I.
This week, and you look at all the rankings, they're literally top 3 on defenses this week. Which is basically you could stream these defenses if they're playing Jacksonville. It would be awesome to see Jarvis Landry do something, a kickoff return for a touchdown or something.
That would be great to see. I would like to see the special teams do something right.
And I think this I feel like this is gonna be a home game as well for the Dolphins.
It will. Part of the reason is because there's a lot of Dolphins fans who grew up as Dolphins fans that live in northern Florida.
There's a lot of Dolphins fans everywhere. We say that every show. I feel like South Florida is a horrible misrepresentation of the Dolphin fan base.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Dolphins fans are everywhere. There's a lot of Dolphins fans that grew up down here in South Florida and left after Hurricane Andrew because they didn't want to deal with another hurricane. There are a lot of Dolphins fans who are just front runners that they were good when they were kids, so they remain Dolphins fans. I think I met a Dolphins fan from just about every state in the union, and a few that live overseas. But Northern Florida, there are a lot of Dolphins fans because this is the team that once upon a time was the only team in the state of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you are going to have a home game, and it's not too and the distance is drivable.
Yeah, it's 6-7 hours.
Yeah, so Dolphins fans living in Miami, feel free to make that drive. If you're going to head to Halloween Horror Nights, maybe Saturday night, maybe Sunday. Drive north, catch a football game. I'm pretty sure tickets will be available. It is Jacksonville. And check it out. And with that, we're going to wrap. You can follow me on Twitter, @ThomasGalicia. I will be posting my preview for Dolphins versus Jaguars on Friday, live blog, and the report card grades on Sunday.
Yeah. Also, yeah, I kind of want the Dolphins to to stick it in Jacksonville one more time for that horrible loss when I was younger.
Oh, no, don't get me started on that.
I mean, I think that's a lot of Dolphin fans' motivation. It's just built up anger from what they did to Dan Marino. Even though we've gone in there, I remember a couple of years ago, I want to say during the Marlins when they were in the playoffs, they played Jacksonville and Ricky Williams went nuts.
I remember that game because I remember watching that game at Sun Life Stadium.
Yeah, I was there at the game too, so I remember watching it at one of the little grill areas on the concourse.
I was watching that while wearing a Cubs hat because the Cubs are my team, and a lot of people were just giving me funny looks like.
That was the Josh Beckett game.
Yeah, a lot of people were giving me funny looks like, why are you cheering over a Dolphins touchdown?
That was a weird game, by the way. I don't want to get into the Marlins, but I mean that was a crazy game.
I would prefer you not. It's still painful. So, all right, we'll be back next week. Thank you for joining us on our
prediction. We didn't give the predictions. We kind of talked about it, but we didn't give the predictions.
31-7 Dolphins.
Dolphins win. That's mine.
Oh, you're not going to predict score? I'm going with 31-7.
I have not predicted. They'll cover the spread. I feel confident they'll cover the spread.
All right, we'll cover the spread. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we will be back next week.